Episode 13 out with the buggy. And my goal right now is to get this alternator charging. There are 1, 2, 3 screws. I'm going to take that plate off. There's supposed to be some brushes under there, see if they look good. I don't want to have to buy a new alternator. This is where we start on episode 13. This is what the two brushes look like. They look pretty good to me. Maybe I'll scratch this little, it looks like maybe a ground. Maybe I'll polish it up a little bit. And I'm going to have to put it back together. Cross my fingers. Okay, I polished up this little piece of metal, and there's another piece down inside the alternator. Kind of hard to see on the camera. I'm going to try to polish it up with maybe some sandpaper. And that's the only two things I can see, the brushes and that little piece there. Maybe I can bend that little piece up a little bit. Spring loaded. Put a little more pressure. And we'll fire it up and see what happens. You can see where the brushes rub. That's pretty shiny. I'm going to put the 3 screws back in and see what happens. Okay, this is going to be a cold start, and hopefully this alternator light will go off. That was really nice. Let's try it again. So this baby rides pretty rough down the dirt road. I think I'm going to take that shock off and see how it rides without that shock. I don't know that I need a shock. If it's going to make it ride rough, it needs to go. Now these shocks are just 2 bolts, one at the bottom, one at the top. And once you get them out, the shocks come right off. Okay, the back 2 shocks are off. I'm ready to go for a test drive to see how he bumps now. See how she rides now. So I took the shocks off the back of my Dune Buggy, and it does ride better now. But the problem is the suspension is so light, it likes to bottom out right here. And when it bottoms out, that's when it's not riding good. So I'm thinking maybe cut a notch here. Cut maybe a 1/2 inch knot. That would give me more wheel travel, and I wouldn't have to lower my rear end. I don't really want to take it apart and lower it. I like how high it sits. Cut a notch. At least that's what I'm thinking. I've never seen it done before, but that's what I'm thinking. Okay, step one, I've got my grinder ready. I gotta get the tire and wheel off first so I can get to the piece, get to the area. So I'm thinking maybe take about a 1/2 inch off here. That would be more than a 1/2 inch out here. Don't want to take off too much. Don't want to take off too little. I'm going to start with a 1/2 inch. About like that. It's going to be fun. Okay, well here's the finished product. I just took the side grinder, cut a little notch. Should get a lot more travel. Instead of bottoming out here, we've got that much more, which out where the wheel is, it'll be a lot more travel. And I'll probably put the shock back on now. So now with the tire back on, you can see where I cut that notch. Here's the metal that came out of that notch. I actually had to cut it twice. On the other side, I got it right the first time. I took out about this much metal. And now I'm going to try to flex the suspension, and you can see that it does not bottom out. Then we'll put the shocks back on and go for a test drive. Instead of clump, 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 now it bounces. Much better. I think we're really going to enjoy that. So I'm out here working on the buggy, putting the shocks back on, and the shocks are just a little bit too short. I could force them on, but there's no travel if it's all the way extended, so I'm going to make some, I'm already making some extensions to bolt the shock on 3 inches lower. That's what I'm working on right now. So here are the shock extensions. This will be for one side, this will be the other side. This will bolt to the shock, that'll bolt to the frame. Cut it off here, cut it off there. Bolt it in place. So that is the custom shock extension in place. The bottom is all bolted up. Now I got to do the same thing to the other side, and we'll be ready to ride. So here's where the shock bolt used to go. Now I've got my extension plus a nut and a lock washer. And once I get that tight, we'll put the shock on.
Is that your video I seen on
I
YouTube
bet it is.
with my buggy? Did you
Yes.
do it?
Yes, sir.
I saw that today. One of my friends sent it to me.
Good.